This is Joy News Prime with me, Ernest Mino, in this bulletin. Biting economic hardships, 34-year-old machine operator reveals how his wife and 2 children survive on an 800 CD a month income.
Some papa alongside your work. If you are not able to do that papa, oh, you will get caught on the way.
Also in this package, a community sitting on gold is at the crossroads. We'll take you to Bibiani Goso, where indigents are divided over a diversion of a major road there after exploratory studies show that a chunk of gold deposits fall beneath the asphalted stretch. We'll hear from them, the mining company and the MP for the area. President Akufo-Addo has described as unfair the call for developing nations to abandon their recently discovered natural resources to address the dangers of climate change.
Resources, and we believe it will be wholly unfair for the world to demand that Africa abandons the exploitation of these same resources.
We know the Prime Minister of Barbados and the President of Guyana wants developing countries to stand up against exploitation by developed countries in investment deals.
We actually recognize that the commitment to be able to change a narrative without understanding and appreciating the realities of countries such as ours.
Also here on Joy News Prime, the country's deaf community is often lost in search of a place to worship. In this bulletin, we'll show you how the hearing impaired worship.
The hearing people, they are preaching, you don't hear anything. I feel that here is the place I can be and prepare myself. That's why I'm here.
In business, Transport Ministry hints of appointment of a new managing director of the Ghana Airport Company Limited soon after the sacking of Yaw Kwakwa.
The structures are still working, and I believe the structures will work until the transition process is completed. How soon? Like I said, the board will take these decisions, and we don't want to second guess what the boss would do.
He was not one they relished, to put it mildly.
I think for the royal family, this was really the only decision that Prince Andrew could have taken. This will save.
Hello again, thanks for joining us. Now, bitter financial conditions have forced 34-year-old machine operator Isaka Obeng to think of other avenues of keeping body and soul together, as his 800 Ghana cedi salary is unable to cater for himself, his wife and 2 children. He falls in the bracket of many others finding any means possible to survive. Here's Mamisi Thompson with the Living Standard series.
You have to do some papa alongside your work. If you are not able to do that papa, oh, you will get caught on the way. As a matter of fact, I don't pay rent because I live in my own house. Yeah. So I spend on food, transportation, and then housekeep. So every day, the housekeeping money, I give 50 cedis to my wife for housekeep, 50 cedis. Then I take 2 trotro to work. When going back to, I take two trotro back home. And transportation is taking my salary.
Isaka says his favorite new word is management. He finds himself using the word very often because of economic hardship. The high cost of food prices means he has to squeeze on his budget. According to him, the economy has hit him so hard that he has had to cut down on his food.
I don't actually eat in the morning. I fast, and then in the afternoon I can spend 9 cedis on good food. And then when I get back home, yeah, my wife is able to prepare something with the 50 cedis I give for the housekeep. It's not good.
Food vendors bear the brunt of angry customers who accuse them of inflating the cost of food. But they explain that the steep rise in food prices is as a result of expensive groceries. Local eatery owner Ma Regina Loco is worried her business may collapse soon because of what she describes as a harsh business environment.
I am adopting some strategies to cushion my business because of the increasing cost of ademi. I will now have to cut down and support with okro and likewise the groundnut soup with palm nuts. These days, we don't even get many customers, and even those who come can't afford to buy. Sometimes I have to even dash out the food I'm selling.
She has been in the food business for 35 years. But since last year, her anxiety about the survival of her business has heightened.
I am currently funding the business with a loan. However, if the prices of ingredients continue to rise, paying back the loan will be a huge problem. And I can tell you that will kill my business.
The cost of food increased by 11% in October 2021 over the same month in the previous year. The impact of this is that the many who earn little or nothing find it difficult to afford basic necessities.
So that's the first in the series of our Living Standard series. Mamesi Thompson brought us that report. But my colleague Kofi J of our research desk joins me here on Joy News Prime. He's been looking at the figures of our standards of living post, pre and post COVID-19. Kofi, what have you found?
Well, let's start with the Ghana Living Standard Survey round 7. And we are looking at average annual household income.
Okay.
So on the national scale, we have household earning 33,937 cedis a year annually.
Okay.
And then if you break this down into quantiles, we have 5 quantiles, which starts from the lowest to the highest. So, the lowest group, we have people in Ghana earning just a little, just close to 8,000, so 7,783 Ghana cedis a year.
Okay.
So imagine having a household earning 7,783 cedis a year. That's like 14 cedis a day.
Per day.
And if you draw the line, you realize that there
14 cedis per day, Kofi. I'm not sure that will even suffice for your lunch.
Exactly. You can't do that.
Yeah, but
so if you draw the line, you realize that there are only 2 categories above the national figure, which is those in the highest quantile. There are people in Ghana earning as high as 57,371 Ghana cedis, and there are also people earning 35,495 cedis a year.
Okay.
So the next slide also talks about income. This is expenditure.
Okay.
So the first one we looked at was income. So we are looking at expenditure right now. So on average, a household in Ghana spends close to 12,857 cedis a year. And again, this is in categories, the lowest class, and then somewhere 5,168 cedis a year.
Okay, so
That's
if you look at the income in the previous slide, which was a little above 7,000, those people are spending actually less than they get.
Imagine, unless you are earning 7,000 a year and you are spending 5,000 a year, it means that the difference, the next slide will show you the difference, and you realize that these people do not have the luxury to actually save. So if you are earning 7,000 a year and you are spending 5,000 a year,
you have very little left.
Exactly, the difference is very small. Whilst others are earning as high as 19,421 Ghana cedis a year.
Okay.
So this slide will help you appreciate what I was talking about. So if you look at the green line is the income, the yellow line is the expenditure. So let's go to the lowest class, which is the first quartile. Household earning 7,783 cedis a year and spending 5,168 cedis a year. Okay. Just look at the difference. So the difference, the gap between these two lines will tell you this is what we call the savings area. That's the luxury that you have to save. So if you are spending 7,783 cedis a year and you are generating 5,168. The question is, how much can you save a year? That's not even more than. And then
the national figure is also very interesting. You have 12,857 for expenditure, and then 33,937.
Exactly. So even if you look at the national figure, you realize that there are people in this category, the first class, the highest class, that their average is higher than that of the national figure. Just look at the difference. They have this space to save, but on the scale, the national scale, just look at the space that households have to save, on annual basis.
Okay.
So the next slide, talks about post-COVID. So we are looking at the COVID-19 household and jobs tracker wave 3. Okay. Which was published by the Ghana Statistical Service. You were there when this report was released. So the question was asked, households were asked if about their income, statuses, and then you realize that 68.02% of households that were interviewed said that, prior to 16 March 2020, when COVID came, they had their, incomes, decreasing. And then if you look at those who said their income stayed the same, that's just around 26.7%. And those who said their income actually increased, that's 5.1%. So you have a whopping 68.02% saying that their income reduced drastically because of COVID-19. So already we just look at the figures post-COVID and you realize that it wasn't looking good for
looking good at all. It means that COVID-19 made it worse for majority of the people. Let's look at the next slide.
So the next slide talks about inflation. So here we are focusing on year-on-year inflation for food, items. So this is we are looking at the regional breakdown, and this is the national figure. On the national scale, general overall inflation is around 13.9%, but food inflation is 13.7%, just 0.02% less than the overall inflation. But interesting analysis. You realize that if you want to stay anywhere, in any of the regions, Eastern region will be the best place to stay at the moment.
Because the inflation rate there is very low.
Inflation rate in the Eastern region, both for food and overall inflation, is very low. It's way, way below the national average. National average of 13.9, but overall inflation for Eastern region is as low as 6.9, and food inflation is as low as,
Okay, we have the next slide. We talked about inflation figures also for various items.
Yes, selected goods. So if you look at water, from December 2021 to January 2021, the price levels for water has gone up by 11.1%, oils and fats 2.9%, vegetables 2.9%. Let's look at cocoa drinks 0.5%, and then that of sugar and desserts, those who like sugar, 1.4%, fish and other seafood 1.3%, and tea 1.3%.
Kofi, thank you very much for putting this in perspective for us. Now you know what the figures really look like, but we'll be coming to you and bringing you the daily stories, the everyday story of how the ordinary Ghanaian is managing in times like this. Now, away from that, the Bibiani Gosu Road in the Western North region is to be diverted after exploratory studies showed a chunk of the Mensing Bibiani gold deposits fall beneath the asphalted stretch. Indigents of the area are, however, divided over which route a new road construction should take. This took center stage at an EPA-organized public hearing on the reopening of surface mining operations of the Mensing Bibiani Gold Mining Limited. My colleague Erastus Saridonko was there and now reports.
The Bibiani gold mines, established in the 18th century, has evolved. The mine is currently under care and maintenance with its new owners, Asante Gold Corporation. The company is seeking an EPA permit to operate an expansion of 2 of its existing pits over a life of 9 years. Monday's public hearing was to brief communities for feedback from those who will be impacted by the proposed surface mining expedition. President of the National House of Chiefs and Paramount Chief of Sefwi Anwiaso, Nanaya Ojebi, wants the company to establish pollution levels in the area to serve as a guide when operations start.
Na pollution level no nyenye bia munim me pese enumanimu ya no mutumi ede bibi na mo kire se pollution level air pollution level no enie nyarwa e won potem ha no enie level say na wo na bosumi nsia bia no yasan abo akire na ehu se ekosoro anase ebefom.
General concerns centered on a proposed diversion of the Bebiani-Gosu Road, whose cracks is found to contain a chunk of the company's gold deposits.
From age 5 to 10 no ye ma omu free abofrem ba school monyene huye na monyane a ebeboa yen awofo no na ye ma no ahoba mbo no atumi aye kese na aye din
sa wo be pie ana wo be change obi kwan a woni ne tena siye na won ka assembly ofa kwan no so bi.
Dr. Charles Akayuli is the lead consultant with Geosystems Consultants Limited, technical advisor to the mines.
Because the cutback is going to affect the road, they have to take the road away from there so that people going from Bebiani to Goso can have a road to pass. Now when they do the cutback, because there are these communities that are very close to the pit, so they take them to a new place and find a place for them, build houses for them to stay.
Chairman of the Board of Directors of Mensin Bibiani Ghana Limited, Kwame Ofosu-Hene-Apenten, said decision on the road diversion will come after further consultations.
Let us address the issue personally. You see, because we've detected geological survey and all that we had a lot of quality gold under the road. Right? We are in the process. We just cannot start any road diversion without the approval, even from cabinet. So it's a process. We are only seeking their opinion so that together we form a, but it's technical. We cannot even decide that this is where the road should pass. They cannot do it except the government agency that had the skill, that authority to determine that, oh, this is where the road should pass.
An EPA permit for Mensin Bibiani is to be considered based on the outcome of the forum. Engineer Michael Sando Ali is head of mining at the EPA.
We will look at these questions that are coming from the community, then we will do a review of the report, we'll synchronize it, and then get the company to revise and give us the final report. Then the permitting would go from there.
Reporting for Joy News, Erastus Asaredonko, Bebiani, Western North region.
And Erastus joins us on the line with more on this story. Erastus, the question that many are asking, was the road there before the company settled in that area for its mining activity, or the reverse, the company first and then the road, which is now going to be diverted?
Well, so the first analogy is the right answer. You know, the Bebiani mines started operations way back into the 18th century, somewhere 1890. And so definitely the mines started before the road came in. And it has been part of the mining lease of the Bebiani mines for a very long time. And that's the explanation from the company. And in fact, when the road was being constructed, the mapping at the time and the business plan for the mining had not taken into consideration mining into that area. And even technology at the time to really establish the ore within the FS crust itself was not available. But recently, there have been geological surveys. Satellite imaging have indicated that indeed there is a fine gold large deposit beneath the road network, and this is necessitating that the road be diverted for them to be able to mine into those areas.
For the diversion that has become quite controversial, Erastus, can you tell us how many suggestions have come up?
A lot of suggestions. In fact, there are those who are mentioning certain towns I cannot name right up here. They are saying that from those communities to Bebiani, which is the center where many of the children come to school, is about 5 kilometers. Now, the road, if diverted, will extend the length of this particular mileage, and so it will go into about, say, 12 kilometers, which will make it difficult for those areas to come to the center of town, do commerce, and be able for children to also come to school. That has been the major concern, but we are told that this decision does not rest within the people alone, the mining company, or even the EPA. It goes beyond that, even into cabinet circles. And so there will be extensive consultation before a decision is taken on which route is suitable.
Erastus, thank you very much. Let's speak to the MP for the area. The Honourable Alfred Obeng joins us also on the phone. Thank you very much, sir, for your time here on Joy News Prime. Now, in your engagement with the people and the various stakeholders, what do you perceive as the real challenge and how it can be addressed?
Yes, sir. Yesterday we had the public forum, and this issue of road diversion came up strongly because a group of the people were of the view that if the road is going to be diverted, then it should pass through Ajay Nkwanta, which is a road from to join the main road from Yinahini to Bibiani. They feel that that place is a bit shorter and it's safer. The mining company, that's Mensing Gold, they have already proposed the diversion to join a road at is it Kwame Krom area, which is the Bibiani to Ahianso Awasu Road, and that is the people, according to them, is going to be longer than when you take the Njej Nkwanta side. So these are the two opposing views. However, there are even people who are also suggesting or who are also opposing, because they also feel that even if you take these two, they are also going to be left out because they have to go back. When they are coming to Bibiani, they are closer to Bibiani, just about 4 kilometers or 3 kilometers to Bibiani now. They have to go back and drive through either Njej Nkwanta or the road that go to Kwame Krom before coming to Bibiani. And there are children who school in Bibiani. Most of them, their children go to school at Bibiani, and it's going to really, some of the mothers' parents were complaining that they are also, working parents. So in the morning, if you want to go and drop your child at school, that will take you just about 4 kilometers and come back to continue your activities. Now it's going to take you, 12 kilometers or 17 kilometers and then back, which if it's 17, is going to be about 34 kilometers. By the time you come, you cannot even do anything again. And if you want to leave the school bus, it's also going to take your children to school to over 17 kilometers in and out. Is something that they feel that is also risky. So this issue came up strongly, and as a member of parliament, I am of opinion that there should be a better and further engagement so that we all come at a compromise. Because at the end of the day, if the mining company will even build standard schools of equal standard as the one that they've been bringing their children to at Bibiani, it can solve some of the problems. If they will build standard hospital, good clinics there, it also solve some of the problems. So that if it's emergency, if it's a referral and they are bringing them to Bibiani, That's why even at BBNE sometimes refer people to Kumasi, which is over 60-something kilometers, and that will not be, rampant. So these are some of the things that I believe that the mining should engage the opinion leaders and the community people for us to look at before taking the final decision.
Very much. That's Alfred Obeng, his Member of Parliament for BBNE and Yaso Bekwai constituency. In a related development, Joy News is learning that Goldfields has raised safety concerns with a community mining program at Braha Bebom in the Takwa Insaye municipality. The company believes the activity put the lives of indigents at risk, besides the fact that the concession is within its operational area. My colleague Kweku Asante joins me via Zoom with more on this. Kweku, what more can you tell us about the concerns being raised by Goldfields? Well, we seem to have lost connection to my colleague Kweku Asante, but this is a story that Joy News is learning about, a community mining program in the Takwa Insaye municipality, and Goldfields is raising concerns with that program, mainly because of safety issues, but also because this is within its operational area. And Goldfields has been explaining, we do know that they have raised official complaints with the MCE for the area. Kweku, what more can you tell us about the concerns of Goldfields? Kweku, if you can hear me, tell us more about the concerns that Goldfields is raising with regards to the community mining project at Braha Bebom in the Takwa Insaye municipality.
So, this is an underground shaft, okay? So there's a possibility of flooding, weak support, cave-ins, among other things, right? And so Goldfields says they are very much concerned that some people are going on to this concession of theirs to do illegal mining and to do other things that they do not approve of right now. We know that this is a large tract of land, about 330 meters from their Teribia pits. And so we are seeing that the mining that is going on currently on that land by some community members is illegal and it's not something that they approve of. And they've been trying to inform authorities about the specific action that is going on the specific land for action to be taken. Mm-hmm. And so Goldfields, for them, they are clear in their mind that whatever is going on that abandoned land is illegal.
What has the Assembly said about this complaint? Kweku, if you can hear me, what has been the response of the Assembly with regards to the complaint raised by Goldfields?
So we've been talking to the Assembly. We've had some officials in there talking to us, giving us details of what exactly is going on. What they are telling us is that they are very much committed to fixing the issue. They are very much investigating to try and see what exactly is going on now, although they do not want to come on record now. But this is something that has actually come to their attention, and they're actually determined to fix it. And that is an assurance that a top official of the Assembly has been telling us.
Kweku, thank you very much for bringing us those details. And you're watching Joy News Prime with me, Ernest Mino. Still to come here, President Akufo-Addo has described as unfair the call for developing nations to abandon their recently discovered natural resources to address the dangers of climate change.
Almighty has blessed our lands with abundant natural resources, and we believe it would be wholly unfair for the world to demand that Africa abandons the exploitation of these same resources.
And coming up in business, Transport Ministry hints of the appointment of a new managing director of the Ghana Airport Company Limited soon after the sacking of Yaw Kwakwa.
The structures are still working, and I believe the structures will work until the transition process is completed. How soon? Like I said, the board will take these decisions, and we don't want to second guess what the boss would do.
Details of these and more after the break. Stay with us.
It's time for business. I'm Charles Aite. The Ministry of Transport has hinted of the appointment of a new managing director for the Ghana Airports Company after confirming the sacking of the immediate past boss, Yaw Kwakwa. According to Deputy Minister for Transport Hassan Tampoli, the board will take a decision in line with the act of the company to get a replacement soon. He disclosed this to journalists at the inauguration of the newly reconstituted board of the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority, of which we have more in this report.
According to the Deputy Transport Minister, transitional processes are ongoing, which includes getting a replacement for the Ghana Airports Company Limited. Speaking to journalists at the inauguration of the newly reconstituted board of the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority, he said the board of the Ghana Airports Company Limited will, in the coming days, name a new MD for Ghana Airports Company.
The transition process is ongoing, so let's wait for the outcome of the process.
Do you have a replacement?
The replacement is part of the transition. So let's just keep fingers crossed and then await the announcement. Well, the airport company is managed by people and their structures. So the structures are still working, and I believe the structures will work until the transition process is completed. How soon? Like I said, the board will take these decisions, and we don't want to second guess what the boss would do. A directive to the GACL board was that they should take the necessary steps under the Companies Act to get a replacement for the managing director. So I believe the process is ongoing.
Santampoli also charged the newly reconstituted board of the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority to work assiduously to ensure a safe domestic and international air travel space.
As board members of this authority, your duties include the following: to keep yourselves abreast with the authority's business and take strategic decisions for implementation by management. 2, to ensure good corporate governance. 3, uphold the values of accountability, efficiency, probity, and transparency in the discharge of your duties. And finally, undertake to act for the organization in a relationship of trust and confidence.
The new board is tasked to aid in making decisions that will revive the aviation sector of the Ghanaian economy.
Hello, good evening and welcome to the sports segments live here on the Joy News Prime with me, Oreku Ampofo. Now, football fans have been left agitated after a football game. That's the national under-17 team, the Black Stars, and Home Stars FC was rained off after just 10 minutes of play at the Whole Sports Stadium. The referee ended the match due to the severity of the rain and the waterlogged state of the pitch. There's more in this following report.
Sections of the deteriorated pitch could best be described as dams, as they got flooded with large volumes of water. Spectators did not mind words subjecting sport authorities in the region to rebuke, expressing their disgust and disappointment in the authorities for renting the pitch for all kinds of events.
Come and see the sports stadium. 20,000. Come and see our stadium. A day of shame for voter reading. A day of shame for voter reading.
Some irate spectators who demanded a refund of the ticket fee locked the main gate and held hostage some management members of Home Stars FC. They prevented them from leaving the stadium until their 5 Ghana cedis each is refunded.
This is the only regional park we have. This is the only regional park we have. And the regional minister and the council is very much aware that this is the only thing that makes we Rotarians very happy. This park, this is how we enjoy football. But they have decided to use the church, the park, for a church auditorium. They have done series of programs on this stadium, and they have refused to use the stadium. The regional minister promised us that after the function, he promised us that they are going to do the park. But until now, they don't do it.
The hold-up degenerated into fisticuffs between the protesters and some spectators who attempted to force their way through the gates. Calm was restored after about 5 minutes of a free-for-all fight. The disappointed football lovers implored stakeholders to immediately commence renovation on the pitch or face their wrath. The game was, however, played on Monday. The Black Starlets won 2-0. Andrew Sapia and Douglas Owusu scored to secure a win over Hope-based Division 2 side, Home Stars FC.
Some boxing now, where promoters in the country support Richard Come's refusal to pay the Ghana Boxing Authority a percentage of his purse for December's fight against Vasyl Lomachenko. Here's President of the Ghana Boxing Promoters Association, Alex Intiamwa.
The underlying word is a boxer licensed by the Ghana Boxing Authority. Combat for about 4 years now is not licensed by the Ghana Boxing Authority. He fights in the US. And in the US, each and every state that you have to fight, you're supposed to fight at, you need to get your license there. And when you fight, you pay taxes. So from Azuma Nelson, Aikwote, Alfred Kote, Joshua Clotte, Joseph Agbeko, none of them has paid any fee with regards to their fight in the US till today. The GBA attempted to have a way to get monies from boxers fighting from the US, from Kote's Kote Nkwesi's administration. They gave a position to Emmanuel Tego's manager or advisor, Peter Khan, as an executive member for international relations, purposely for him to go to the commissions to seek for that money. But he knows that it cannot work in the US because the boxers are licensed there.
Well, that's how we wrap up the sport here. I'll be back in the next hour to provide you updates of the Champions League games are currently ongoing or about to start between Paris Saint-Germain and then Real Madrid and Sporting Lisbon and Manchester City. My name is Oreku Ampofo.
And Becky is here with the very latest in the world of showbiz. I'll first start by asking you how was yesterday, last night. I mean, because I cancelled our date because I was protesting.
I went home straight and I slept. Nobody sent me any message. I didn't receive any. I'm so lonely.
You're sure about that?
Yes, please. But I mean, let's not talk about me.
Why do you want to move away so quickly from that?
But I need to tell you about,
yeah, but there's time.
Actor and comedian Michael Blankson. He's been talking about how to help the industry grow. So what he will be doing, Ernest, is that he'll be creating short films here in Ghana, bringing in all the Hollywood stars and all of that, just to project the movie industry here. Another good news is that singer and songwriter Kitty is set to release a remix of his global hit song, Touch It, with American rapper Tiger on February 16. And
congrats to Kitty.
Yeah, I can't wait for that for that collaboration.
Yeah.
But let me talk to you about Aquaboy's Shades of Love. We missed that yesterday.
Yeah, we did.
So for those of you who missed it, here highlights.
Is representing the next generation so beautifully.
It's a celebration, and the High Life and what High Life stands for, it stands for the celebration of music, and it stands for everybody coming together to make the music happen.
I mean, Aquaboy is an incredible musician. Obaste so to be you any free stage, so one of the very best we have, not just in Ghana but across Africa.
You love that song, yeah?
Yeah, I do. And I miss Becca on stage.
Yeah, good to see her back.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Becky,
Anytime.
for bringing us showbiz. And that's it. If you're watching us on Joy Prime, that's it for the bulletin. We're grateful you could join us. If you're enjoying news, we have more stories for you. Don't go away. President Akufo-Addo has described as unfair calls for developing nations to abandon their recently discovered natural resources to address the dangers of climate change, acknowledging the effect of climate change and the urgent need to combat it. The president said the development of Ghana and its people will remain supreme on any steps taken to advance the discussions on climate change. At a speech to open the International Energy Conference and Expo at Guyana in the Caribbean, President Akufo-Addo said Africa has all the natural resources needed for growth and development and called for deliberate programs to harness them.
For the sake of our generation and that of generations yet unborn, we have a solemn duty to take immediate, bold, and concrete steps to protect global climate from warming beyond unbearable limits. We know it is in our own interest to act to salvage the economic fortunes of the continent, and more so, step our collective efforts to fight decisively climate change. We have till 2030 to stop climate change, and this requires us to deal with climate change more aggressively than we have in the past. However, we're faced with a conundrum. The African Development Bank has stated that Africa will need some $3 trillion United States dollars in mitigation and adaptation by 2030 to enable us to implement our nationally determined contributions. The obvious question arises as to how do we finance these commitments, especially as our socioeconomic development continues, unfortunately, to be low. The great rivers of the world flow through our continent, and so are the lakes and the dramatic waterfalls. We have breathtaking deserts as well. We have minerals that the rest of the world would kill for. All the minerals that are needed to run modern economies are in our continent. Indeed, 30% of the Earth's remaining minerals are in Africa. We have fertile lands, we have picturesque and captivating landscapes, and useful and interesting plants. And we are still home to what is left of the big animals on our planet. The Almighty has blessed our lands with abundant natural resources, and we believe it would be wholly unfair for the world to demand that Africa abandons the exploitation of these same resources needed to finance her development and help us to cope better with the threat of climate change at a time when many countries on the continent have only just discovered them.
The International Conference on Energy is to provide a platform for the exchange of ideas between Ghana, Guyana, and Barbados on oil and gas exploration. Already, Ghana is helping Guyana to develop a local content regime in the oil sector. Prime Minister of Barbados, Mia Moulty, wants citizens of the three countries to benefit more from the oil find.
Simple proposition because it's easy to put in a soundbite or in 4 inches of a newspaper. But our lives cannot be reduced to a soundbite or 4 inches of column in a newspaper. What is required of us now is to have the kinds of complex conversations, and I thank you, President Dali, for your initiative in creating a forum such as this that will allow us to begin to say to the rest of the world, we actually see what is going on, and we don't agree with it. And we actually recognize that the commitment to be able to change a narrative without understanding and appreciating the realities of countries such as ours, faced with the crisis of the climate, but faced with the complexity of poverty of our people and the lack of opportunities, that there must be a way that can be found that can meet both needs. I trust and pray that as we go forward, that we will find the will as heads of government and heads of state to force these conversations. And I want us, as we do so, to recognize that there may be a few initiatives that truly can be transformative. But before I get there, I want to just offer one comment on this issue of local content. Because I've heard too many people, particularly from the private sector, complain regionally and internationally, and not just about Guyana, but in every country, in our own country, about the need for local content. The day that we do not provide opportunity for our citizens who participate in active citizenship, of being able to benefit from the patrimony of our country, is the day we sow the seeds of destruction of our nation and invite disruption. But to ensure that at no stage as newly independent countries of the world do we leave our citizens as tenants in their own land, but make them owners of all that they.
Prime Minister of Guyana, Mohamed Irfan Ali, says the era of exploitation is over.
We must contemplate this question because it's an important question. But importantly, we are humbled by this opportunity, and we welcome investors. Local content is not about not welcoming investors. We welcome every single investor, be it Exxon, be it the international investors, has every single stakeholder. Whether you're regional, international, we welcome you. But all we are saying is that that space for technological transformation, collaboration, local growth, and competitiveness and increased productivity must be built into the system to bring benefit to the people of the country. So do not, for a moment, try to misplace this conversation. Do not try to recreate your own narrative. We are going to, and this is why we have this conference, we are going to state directly the narrative. There is no need for any interpretation. This is the narrative. We are pursuing this path. We know of the responsibility I'm going to speak about. We welcome investors, but we believe that local opportunities, the private sector, and every single Guyanese and regional stakeholder must be part of this prosperity and benefit from the prosperity.
And finding a place to commune with God is critical for many, especially in a very religious country like Ghana. But the country's deaf community is often lost in the search of a place to worship. Most churches do not provide for sign language interpretations of their service, and a shortage in the number of interpreters mean there are only a few available for the churches who do so. In the following report, John News' Justice Bedu goes to church with the deaf.
Akosia has been deaf all her life. 10 years ago, she left Suhum, her hometown, to come and live in Accra. She used to attend a mainstream church that had an interpreter, but she had to stop going because she says she didn't like it.
The preaching over there is not the same. The word of God is not the same, though the Bible is one, but the word they are preaching is not the same. When they preach, is no, this is not what I want.
Last year, she found one of the very few churches for the deaf in Kokomlemle, the Accra suburb where she lives. Soon after she joined, the school in which they worshipped threw them out. And now she walks from Kokomlemle to Abosokan, a journey of about 45 minutes, where the church has now moved to. This church is where Akosia worships now. Inside, the congregants, all of them deaf, are busy in worship.
Around 500,000 deaf people live in Ghana. The fraction in this church today are only a tiny bit of that number. Many mainstream churches in Ghana do not have sign language interpreters, and the stigma around being deaf means even if they did have interpreters, many of these people would not go there. In here, in the small space, the deaf community do not only have a place to commune with their God, but also a refuge where they can worship with people like them.
I am Kwevi Asiamate Israel. So the Lord has given me the commission to be with the deaf community. We have over 80 people, and we have run this church more than 25 years now. If sign language is a recognized language in Ghana, what a wonderful, it will be a wonderful thing. Yes, it will really help the nation, because these people, assuming we are like in society, people understand the way people understand Twi Ewe Ga, and then the deaf come to you, and then you can communicate with them. Mostly when they go to the hospitals, the struggle they go through at the hospital is another thing altogether. So assuming the nurses, the doctors, they also know this language. They can sign, so they will be able to tell. We will not have a lot of problem. So if this language is made as a national, is also is recognized in society, it will really help the nation.
Because the deaf cannot speak, when they want to pray, they close their eyes, use sign language to say what they want to say, and keep clapping to send their message across. Those who have partial speaking ability murmur out words only they can understand.
When you see the hearing people, you go there, and then they are preaching. You don't hear anything. You only sleep. The only thing that we do is amen. I watch the mouth of the pastor, and then I say, when the pastor say amen, I know that he's saying amen. Then I also say amen, and we don't benefit.
The challenges that deaf people have finding a place to worship is only a tip of the iceberg and shows a much bigger problem. Many mainstream schools do not have interpreters. Several hospitals don't. And schools for the deaf are few. The sign language is not recognized officially in Ghana. Deaf people are only a small part of Ghana's community of the physically challenged. The issues they face with inclusivity in this day and age is only a stark reminder of how much more work needs to be done to make everyone feel a part of the bigger Ghanaian society. Justice Baidu, Joy News, Accra.
Now, one person has been confirmed dead after a fatal accident occurred at about 10:40 hours this morning on a section of the Kwame Danso Atebubu Highway when the Kwame Danso fire tender was responding to a distress fire call at Atebubu with a crew of 5. The accident occurred when a motorbike rider carelessly crossed the fire truck, and in an attempt to avoid hitting and killing the rider, the fire truck lost its balance and somersaulted thrice, hitting another pedestrian who was on a motorbike and landing on its roof in a nearby bush. 4 of the injured are currently at the Techiman Holy Family Hospital and are said to be airlifted to the 37 Military Hospital for further treatment. Anasabet reports.
Well, information reaching us indicates that at about 10:40 a.m. this morning, a fire tender with a registration number FS717 attending to a fire situation in Atebubu from Kwame Danso got involved in an accident on the Atebubu Kwame Danso highway. This afternoon, we are here at the Techiman Holy Family Hospital to access the situation as well as speak with the Regional Fire Commander DCFO George Frimpong Ening.
Around 09:41 hours, Atebubu fire station had a distress call that a doctor had been trapped by fire at Atebubu Hospital. And unfortunately, their appliance is faulty with a pump. That was yesterday night. They went for fire, and then they had a problem. So this morning, when the incident happened, they had to call the nearby fire station. And the nearby fire station is Kwame Danso fire station. So they called them, and then they also took off to come and assist. And on their way, they were crossed by motor rider, and then in the process of saving the motor rider, they also hit another motor with a man, the wife, and then a child at the back of the woman. Our men were 5 on board, and due to the severity of the accident, we are having 3 of them over here, and they are in critical condition. The pedestrians who were knocked down, one of them, that is the man, has been brought here with the firemen, and then the wife has passed away, and the child is responding to treatment at Tebubu Government Hospital. So the child was not brought here because the child is stable.
Their situation demands for their referral to the 37 military hospital, and as it stands, arrangements have been made to get them transported to Accra via the Ghana Air Force flight later this evening.
I've spoken with our chief fire officer, and then he is saying that if the condition is so critical, it will be preferable to airlift them to Accra. And then he has even started contacting the Air Force commander and then 37 military hospital, so that when they are airlifted, they will be sent to 37 military hospital. So currently, the doctor over here has also examined the 3 that they were brought, and then saying that all of them are having head injury. So it's like they are not responding to orders. They are not responding to orders. So it will be appropriate to airlift them, as the chief fire officer earlier on suggested.
As we speak, 4 of the injured are currently here. DCFO George Frimpong says they are all in critical condition, but 2 others are currently on their way to the Techiman Holy Family Hospital from Atebubu.
My men are 5, but the last ambulance did not get there early because we asked that one to come all the way from Yeji to Atebubu. Oh, that is why it is not here, but they are on their way coming.
So this has been the current situation from the Techiman Holy Family Hospital. My name is Anas Sabit, reporting for Joy News.
Let's go to Parliament now. The Speaker, Awan Babin, has directed government to put before the House for scrutiny the agreement for the acquisition of Airtel Tigo. Government took over the company last year following serious financial challenges, which got some persons raising questions. Minister for Communications and Digitalization, Eslo Swekuful, is answering questions from the Ningo Pram MP Sam George about the deal. In answering the question, said the agreement is awaiting further inputs from the Attorney General before finalization. Here are excerpts of what transpired on the floor.
The Ministry for Communications and Digitalization oversees the telecom ICT sector in full compliance with the laws of the land and will complete all legal and constitutional processes by the end of this meeting of Parliament for the acquisition of Airtel Tigo.
This article shall, with the necessary modification by Parliament, apply to an international business or economic transaction to which the government is a party as it applies to a loan. The Minister in her response says the Ministry will comply with the laws of the land by the end of this meeting of Parliament. However, the Daily Graphic of November 3rd, 2021 cites the Minister as announcing government's complete takeover of the company. So I want to find out from the Minister, did the Daily Graphic quote her wrongly, or is she coming to Parliament to ratify the acquisition or sale of the company to government after she has completed the transaction? in line with 1815. It should have been before the transaction, not after the transaction.
Mr. Speaker, the acquisition of telecommunications companies follows a process, and that process is ongoing. There are phases in that process, from the contract signing, regulatory approvals, and closing obligations that parties have to undertake, and then the legal and regulatory processes that have to be gone through. Contract is signed at a particular period, and that's what was announced. The other closing obligations are ongoing. And when we conclude all of that, part of it being, if on the advice of the Attorney General, that we need to comply with any provision of the law regarding the acquisition, it will be done in due course.
Some difficulty. Bharti Airtel has announced on the Indian Stock Exchange on the 27th of October 2020 and on the 16th of April 2021 that they have completed their sale to the government of Ghana on the Indian Stock Exchange, that the sale of Airtel Tigo has been completed. Mr. Speaker, again, I quote a news reportage where the minister is quoted as saying government paid $1 for the acquisition of Airtel Tigo. And this is from UTV. And at the signing ceremony, this is what he said. Honorable Esla Owusu Ekufo signed on behalf of the government of Ghana, while Jatina Katarina Yunken van de Vreek, Timothy Pennington, Eric Nananipa, and Vish Ashiago signed on behalf of the seller entities. Mr. Speaker, there's been an offer, there's been an acceptance, a sale of the shares has been completed. The old shareholder has stated on the Indian Stock Exchange that they have disposed of their ownership of the company. At what point must the minister come to Parliament for approval to engage in such an international transaction?
We are still in the closing obligation stage of this transaction. And so all the legal and constitutional processes will be completed on the advice of the Attorney General by the end of this meeting of Parliament. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
In the media after proceedings, Sam George accused the minister of running away from accountability. According to the deputy ranking member on the Communications Committee, the minister is concealing vital information about the deal.
I have no suspicions. I only speak to facts, and the facts are simple. Bharti Airtel entered into an agreement. There was a signing ceremony where the Minister for Communications and Digitalization represented the government of Ghana. That document that was signed, I have been asking for, as a deputy ranking on the committee has been asking for a copy of that document for over a year. We haven't seen it. But on the basis of that document, Bharti Airtel has gone to India to tell their shareholders that they have sold the company. On the basis of that document, Bharti Airtel has withdrawn the CEO of the company that they appointed. On the basis of that document, government of Ghana has appointed a new CEO for the company. Your guess is as good as mine. What is in that document? So if the minister is telling us in Parliament today that the sale has not been completed, I have not finished buying a car from you. Yet I'm driving the car, I have changed the engine, I have changed the color. Right now, if you go to DVLA, it is my name on the documents, but they say I still haven't finished paying for the car. Well, you must be a very generous seller to hand over the whole company if it has not been completed. And I'm sure you all remember that last year, I had the back and forth in the media space with the minister over whether the true value of the company was $1 or not, because she said they bought it for $1. Those were her words, that government has acquired Airtel Tigo for $1. Not me. That was the minister's words. So if you say you have acquired, and like the speaker pointed out, the minister is a senior lawyer, very seasoned lawyer. If you say you have acquired an asset, it means you have bought it. And in basic contract law, for a sale to be done, there has to be an offer, there has to be consideration, and there has to be an acceptance. All of that seems to be visible in here. There was an offer from Bharti Airtel, there was consideration of $1, as the minister told us, and there was acceptance. So if we are being told that it's not still been sold, like I said, one person is not being truthful. It's either Bharti Airtel to its shareholders on the Indian Stock Exchange, or our ministry is not being completely truthful with us.
The sector minister, however, refuted the claim. She spoke to the media, also in Parliament.
You still listen to his Airtel Tigo matter. He came and announced to the whole world that government had bought Airtel Tigo for $20 million when he was nowhere near the transaction, hadn't seen any document, and as a figment of his imagination, threw this out. You are still listening to what he's saying. I'm the one who signed the documents. I said the contract price was $1. He said no, he's never had any such thing before. So let him make whatever allegations he wants to make. We are still focused and we're doing our work. At every stage of the way, I've been very open with the Ghanaian people and I've put full information out before you by any allegations made by anyone, well-meaning or ill-meaning. I don't stay focused and we do our work. But please, when the honourable member comments, take it with a pinch of salt. He doesn't always get it right. Contract sum.
Now, Germany's development cooperation to Ghana was not affected by the constraint of the COVID-19 pandemic. The German ambassador to Ghana, Daniel Krul, had revealed that the 110 million euros of economic partnership with Ghana has been the highest injection in 2021 and 2022 amid the pandemic. He's also been speaking to Joy Business also about plans to establish a vaccine factory in Ghana.
Despite Corona, the trade figures between Ghana and Germany remained relatively stable. I think that is a very encouraging sign. German industries and invested in many sectors. They are not always labeled as German companies, but they are very strong in the construction sector, in logistics, in insurance, automotives, and agribusiness. I always stress that Germany is among the largest coffee exporter without being a coffee producer. And Ghana is among the most important cocoa producers, but imports chocolate. So I see a lot of potential for future cooperation also in the field of agribusiness and food processing in particular. Now, we have Ghana and Germany also have a very important agenda in the field of development cooperation. The current cooperation project portfolio amounts to roughly 700 million euros. In this important cooperation, we focus on green energy, we focus on inclusive growth, and we focus on good governance. I call this the 3G of German-Ghanaian cooperation. Now, in the field of inclusive growth, we try to foster private sector initiatives and startups in various fields of the economy. One of this is the ambitious plan of the Ghanaian government to make Ghana a regional hub for vaccine production. Ghana chose private sector driven approach, which we full-heartedly support. And in this framework of our development cooperation with Ghana, we supported the vaccine committee in setting up and outlining a roadmap, a 10-year roadmap, how to make Ghana a regional hub.
Away from that, the National Lottery Authority, NLA, has partnered Ghana Post to set up offices within some strategic locations in the country. The move is expected to help the authority expand its horizon by offering various brands of lotteries and other services to the public. Director General of the NLA, Samuel Awoku, during the courtesy call by the Managing Director of Ghana Post, Bise Osei Kufuor, said he was committed to building a world-class business that will rake in more revenue for the country. We have more in this report.
The partnership, according to the Director General of the NLA, Sami Awoku, will also enable customers who stake lotto within the regional and district levels receive their cash with ease after winning. Mr. Awoku assured the Ghana Post of the NLA's topmost commitment in ensuring that the partnership benefits both institutions and also bring relief to consumers.
It's a shared responsibility and goals, how we can partner each other to achieve the desired target and revenue for our respective organizations. What the NLA was very much fascinated about was the proposal from the Ghana Post to collaborate with them to take some of their office space, to also set aside some of their tellers or booth for the NLA to also have reps and cashiers and places where people can redeem their prizes when they win, and subsequently also can also participate in our games. So for us, we believe that this is a step in the right direction.
The Managing Director of the Ghana Post highlighted the efforts of positive gains by his outfit, calling on institutions and individuals to trust them to deliver excellent services. He said over the past 4 years, Ghana Post has been on a path of turnaround, leading to significant growth through innovation and the expansion of its fleet.
And Ghana Post is not left out. Ghana Post currently runs financial services, mobile money transfer services, remittances. We also offer insurance sale. We offer post assurance. We do priority services. We sell forms of recruitment. We also do the usual parcel, EMS, postage services. Now we are on, courier services. Now we are on another paradigm shift of our business, which is bringing government businesses to our post offices. Now, NLA is one of the government businesses that we have identified that we can partner with. I mean, we have the network. People want a trusted partner to work with as far as lottery is concerned.
The National Lottery Authority, through this partnership, intends to carry the Ghana Post on its wings to enable both institutions to grow together, with the prime focus on ensuring adequate funds are raised for the state and for developmental projects.
Now, Haptol has expanded its operations to the people of Cape Coast after a successful launch in 4 of Ghana's major cities, which are Accra, Tema, Kumasi, and Takoradi. The leading quick commerce messaging and payment service provider announced its operations in the central region with activation on the University of Cape Coast campus. Listen to the head of commercial and new market, Gershon Eric Akoto, speaking on Cape Coast-based radio station.
We want to bring that same experience, that same feel to the people of Cape Coast. We see the number of businesses are growing, the number of users who have internet, who use mobile money, who use all the things that they need to be able to travel on Haptel is growing in Cape Coast. And we feel it's the right time to be in Cape Coast because there's a good opportunity. So today you can open up your Haptel app and order food from a local food vendor in Cape Coast. So quick commerce is one of the services we offer. So you can set up your Haptel account and make an order for food and get it delivered for you. We also allow you to send bulk SMS as we've always done. You can, maybe you're a church, you want to send messages to your congregants, you can do that. If you even want to send money to your workers, you can use Haptel to send money to your workers. You can send to them on all the networks.
Now, the Ghana Stock Exchange will finalize the process to establish an investor credit rating agency for players on the stock market. The move is to enhance credibility of the market and open up activities of investors to all stakeholders. The Managing Director of the exchange, Eko Afeji, explained that this is critical to the growth of the market. He spoke to Joy Business after engaging the media in Accra.
The engagement with the media is the first in a series of media encounters by the Ghana Stock Exchange to give a performance update on its operations. According to Managing Director Eko Afezi, establishing a rating agency will help stakeholders make better decisions on corporate institutions to work with on the market.
There are certain features of the bond market that we must make sure that we also have in Ghana in order to make the bond market more credible. And one of them is to have credit rating agencies. It is important because when it comes to corporate bonds, the investor will got to know about the rating of that company before taking a decision. In other words, whatever the credit rating agency will say can guide the investor in the investment that you make in that corporate bond. Hopefully, by the end of this year, maybe we'll have a domestic credit rating agency.
On the issue of getting state-owned enterprises participate in the market activities, Eko Afezi disclosed that there has been a shortlist of companies awaiting approval from their boards and the Ministry of Finance. He noted that although 7 firms have been shortlisted to begin, work is ongoing to bring more on board.
That I can say is that we are working together with SIGA and also public enterprises, the minister or ministry, to explore the possibility of some state-owned enterprises using the capital market to raise long-term capital, to solve some of their long-term capital needs. That, to me, is the greatest thing that, to me, will be the key objective. The key objective will be, how do we get some of those state-owned enterprises to utilize the capital market to solve some of their long-term capital needs? And that's what we're working on. Hopefully, we'll get a few coming. As it was said earlier on, a few companies have been earmarked, and we are hoping that as we go through the processes, we'll get to know finally how many will come on the market.
The Ghana Stock Exchange, which has been adjudged second best performing market in Africa, is also developing 2 new market products to be added to the already existing ones.
And that'll be all for business, but we'll leave you with a summary of international business news, after which we have sports. I'm Charles Ayete. Do stay with us.
Hello, good evening and welcome to the second part of the sports segment here with me, Oreku Ampofo. Let's begin with sports infrastructure development because a sod has been cut for the construction of an ultra-modern AstroTurf in the Mpraeso constituency in the eastern region of Ghana. We have more details for you in the following report.
The facility, which is the first of its kind in Kwewu, is expected to be ready in 6 months' time. It will boast of state-of-the-art football pitch, panel mesh fencing, and floodlights. Speaking after the sword-cutting ceremony, Member of Parliament for Mpraeso constituency, Davis Ansa Opoku, underscored the importance of the facility.
Well, I'm super excited that today the Ghana Gas Company Limited is sponsoring an AstroTurf in the Mpraeso constituency. I believe that football, and for that matter sports, promotes healthy living, it promotes a happy society, and even promotes a peaceful society. So for me, I'm super excited that this edifice will be erected in my constituency. And I know it's going to serve the young population of my place. I'm grateful to Ghana Gas, I'm grateful to the chiefs and people of Oboming, I'm grateful to the people of Kwewu, and I'm also grateful to the contractor Best Limited for deciding to undertake this exercise for us. I am expecting that at the end of the program, the project is going to benefit not only the community, but even people would move from other places and come and use our facility.
Deputy Sports Minister Evans Opong-Bobie told the Joy Sports team that the facility will play a key role in developing football talents in Kwewu.
The project will serve as a platform for the youth who have talents, not only soccer, but any other sports related activities, to be able to unearth their talent, develop their talent, and then move on to wherever they want to go. Number two, as Nana indicated, it will also serve as a situation whereby the market women, people who do their individual work, anytime there's going to be a football match or an activity, an event that is going to be held here, these traders will also get opportunity to come and sell. Because when there's going to be an event, you realize that a lot of people will come. And when they come, people will buy assorta, people will buy askinke, chinchinka, and what have you. So it's going to be a catalyst or a change agent to help others also to facilitate their business or what have you.
The artificial football turf at the Oboming Presby School Park will be constructed by Best Limited. Here is the CEO, Nana Aintree.
What we bring to the market is not just AstroTurf. We're giving you AstroTurf and more. And our turf serves over 10 years warranty. And we are implementing, like the hockey pitch, water-based technology, which allow players to play in the pool of water, but then the ball still and the game still goes on. But for football, we are bringing a turf that serves over 10 years warranty. And our system, or the mapping that we do, makes every community enjoy our pitch. So from 6 months away from now, the people of Kwewu, and we are so much excited that is the first to be happening here at Kwewu.
Well, before we go, let's just get an update on the ongoing Champions League round of 16 fixtures. And 2 games were being played today. The major one being Real Madrid, and then Paris Saint-Germain. That's the game that we discussed here earlier on the Joy News Pulse. It's currently 0-0 between 2 sides. Paris Saint-Germain dominating possession but failing to go through a resolute Real Madrid team. And Manchester City already cruising in the tie, beating Sporting Lisbon by 4-0 in the first half. That's how we wrap up the sports here. You can get some more details on our website. That's myjoyonline.com/sports, or follow us on social media at Joy Sports GH. My name is Oreku Ampofo.